In the fall of 2022, a film premiered on Netflix called The Watcher. It is a mystery thriller, and the second season was premiered in November 2022. It may just be a harmless show, but what if I were to tell you that this show is actually loosely based on a true story? This event occurred in the summer of 2014, specifically June. Derek and Maria Broaddus had bought a house. The house's address is 657 Boulevard. It was a house appropriate for 6 people. The cost for this house was $1.3 million. 3 children had also been accompanying the family. Derek and Maria saw it as the perfect place to raise their 3 children. Soon enough, before moving, it became their dream house. They were drawn to how charming the home was, the spatial layout, and prime location. They had saved up for years to buy this house. But little did they know that living at the dream house would become a living nightmare. Just before moving in, the Broadduses started renovating to customize their new home. That's when it began. They received their first letter just a few days after moving in, and it seemed to be a welcome to the neighborhood. But as they kept reading, the message became more and more disturbing. This was the full letter. Dearest new neighbor at 657 Boulevard, allow me to welcome you to the neighborhood. How did you end up here? Did 657 Boulevard call to you with its force within? 657 Boulevard has been the subject of my family for decades now, as it approaches its 110th birthday. I've been put in charge of watching and waiting for its second coming. My grandfather watched the house in the 1920s, and my father watched in the 1960s. It is now my time. Do you know the history of the house? Do you know what lies within the walls of 657 Boulevard? Why are you here? I will find out. The individual who wrote this message identified themselves as the Watcher. I guess it's starting to make sense now. The individual also added that hundreds and hundreds of cars drive by 657 Boulevard every day. The individual claimed that they might be in one of them. This letter is already disturbing enough, but the story doesn't end there, unfortunately. About 2 weeks later, the family received another letter from the same person. The person said that they were committed to watching the family. All of the windows and doors in 657 Boulevard allow me to watch you and track you as you move through the house. Who am I? I am the Watcher, and I've been in control of 657 Boulevard for the better part of 2 decades now. I am pleased to know your names now and the names of the young blood you have brought to me. You certainly say their names often. The Watcher even mentioned the 3 children, and was asking if there was a 4th on the way. He even became pleased when they filled the house with children that the Watcher quote-unquote requested. But the more letters came, the more disturbing each one got. I pass by many times a day. 657 Boulevard is my job, my obsession, my life. And now you are 2 Broaddus family? What's ironic is that the person spelt their last name wrong. The Watcher even mentioned that they actually lived in this house in the 1960s. And honestly, that's terrifying. Knowing somebody who's been harassing you lived in your house is scary to know. Especially since they've been writing letters with details that only a Watcher can know. Mr. Broaddus went public with this story, and even mentioned that he was a depressed wreck because of all the stress and anxiety. But since a lot of the letters mentioned the children, they chose to protect the children instead. And that was the main goal, at least for a little while. Eventually, they received their final letter. This one had to have been the most disturbing. It has been years and years since the young blood ruled the hallways of the house. Have you found all the secrets it holds yet? Will the young blood play in the basement? Or are they too afraid to go down there alone? I would be very afraid if I were them. It is far away from the rest of the house. If you were upstairs, you would never hear them scream. At this point, even if it was just a prank, it started going a little bit too far. The police got involved and they even hired a private investigator. They initially focused on the Lawnford family, which were other neighbors. Especially since that some neighbors were caught peeking out the windows. But there was no solid evidence backing this up to the letters. Nor did they find any evidence to prosecute them. One thing that does help us though is that they use a DNA sample from the letter and determined that the sender may have been a woman. But did you know that there were other individuals who knew about the Watcher before the Broadduses moved in? There was a family whose last name was Woods. John and Andrea Woods also knew about the Watcher. They received a threatening letter from the Watcher, but they never disclosed this to the Broaddus family before selling the home. Coincidentally, a year after, the Broadduses sued the Woods family. They filed a complaint, but they tried their best not to get this on social media. But a reporter found out about the house and triggered a chain reaction that made the Watcher story go viral. But the judge dismissed the lawsuit against the Woodses. Some people on social media believe that the Broadduses should not have given this much attention to the letters and should have just moved in. This led the Broadduses to think that more people would be interested in buying the house, so in the spring of 2016, they put the house up for sale. It was truly a devastating decision, but they couldn't take the harassment anymore. Some people in the community actually started to doubt the legitimacy on the Broadduses' part, leading some people to believe that it was just a hoax. Something that makes this plausible is the fact that the tenants today, the newest tenants, have not reported anything suspicious. They haven't gotten any Watcher emails or anything. So it could be possible that the Watcher has left. The Watcher has not come back since. And so, the letters and the Watcher fade into obscurity. This isn't meant to be like a full analysis of this entire case. Like, there's a lot that I didn't go over. I didn't even mention all the threats and typographical errors that this person wrote. I know some people may believe that this case is something paranormal. I don't really believe in the paranormal, but I'm not gonna get mad at people for believing in the paranormal. It would be sort of hypocritical because I believe in some pretty crazy stuff, so it would be hypocritical of me to just assume that you'd be wrong to believe in the paranormal. Especially considering that I believe in the supernatural, and this being supernatural could be one of my theories. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Feel free to subscribe as I plan to upload more content like this. This is truly a disturbing case, in my opinion. Like, the fact that the person was never found afterwards is scary. Thank you so much again for watching. So, yeah, feel free to leave a like as well. I hope you liked this video, and I will see you in the next video.